Since kagaya na ngayon sa inyo, wala masyadong tao. Wala masyadong tao, but it's more than half. Oh, tama. More than half pa din. And I already told you that during orientation, di ba nakapagbigay na po ako ng orientation about the subject. I won't give online activities anymore. Your grades would be from your attendance, recitation, ayun. And also, I asked her RS, and it's fine. Pinayagan niya, sabi niya okay lang, kasi doon naman. Sabi ko kasi, para wala nang babalikan. Pagkatapos yun ng klase ngayon, you don't have problems anymore. So, ngayon, baka kasi may magtanong, ma'am, paano po ako makakabawi? Kailangan mo na lang i-make sure that, kasi nga, mababa ka na check sa online activity. So, ang gagawin na lang natin ay i-make sure na hindi ka na mataas ang midterm, finals, project, and quizzes mo. Pero hindi ka makakauno. Kasi kailangan kasama to para mataas yung grade. So, yun is sure, hindi ka makakauno. Pero, yung other factors, pwede ka pa rin naman maka 1+. Okay? Kasi, kaya lang, ang dami ko kasi ng activity. Dito na ako kukuha. Hindi ko na kayo bibigyan ng kahit anong activity. Ito na lang siya. Okay? So, yun. So, it's already recording. Let us, class manager, sorry. Let's take the picture. BPED 2A. Open your cameras for the picture taking. Wow. Puro lalaki, PE, Puro lalaki. Parang masama loob ni John Ian. John Ian, mas maganda sa English. Ayan, maraming babae sa English. Puro panlalaki kasi, usually to. But I think hindi rin kasi maraming magagaling na PE teacher na babae and other genders as well. Kaya puro lalaki ngayon aming sinan. Yung mga hindi pala lalaki. Okay, shall we begin? Count ka na lang, Sir Matthew.
Oh. May hindi pa po naka-open cam.
Gamer si Matthew,
Okay na po ba? Sige.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Okay.
Saba po. May pumasok po.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Yan, okay na po.
Thank you, Matthew. Okay. Thank you, the rest. Alam ko, pagod na kayo. Is this your second class?
Yes po.
Yes. So, pagod na kayo. Yung data ng iba, medyo siguro mga na. Okay, so let's begin. First part of our activity. Okay. Have your first recitation. So, as a student, when do you feel that a class is a learner-centered class? That is my first question for today. When do you feel that a class is a learner-centered class? Okay, so, I'll expo muna siya because I want to ask for your opinion. Stop here. Yes, Riden. It's fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yung tanong po is about sa learner-centered teaching, no. Ngayon po, malalaman na po yun kapag ang isang kabataan, isang estudyante, sabihin na lang natin, no, na may kalayaan na matuto sa kanyang sarili. Halimbawa na lang po, ma'am, kapag nagtanong po yung teacher, regarding sa opinion niya, and then in-express niya yun, it's a symbol, it's a symbol of learner-centered teaching na po. Kasi na-express niya yung ideas niya. Ayun po yung parang target ng learner-centered teaching.
Yes. Okay, that's correct. Very good. So, for you, that is learner-centered. And I think that's correct. Kasi teacher-centered, makikita nyo, hindi siya talaga hindi naman siya about expression. Okay. Yes, Matthew.
Ma'am, yung pagiging learner-centered class po, hindi naman po totally sa teacher lang or yung parang one-sided lang po kasi po parang meron po akong parang theory na 'di ba po kapag nagbabike tayo kailangan po parehas na pinipedal para din po sa klase na kailangan din po na mag-engage po yung student with the help and the guide of the teacher yung po para mag-work po at para matuto rin po at the same time yung student, ma'am. Ayun.
Okay, so for Matthew, it's about collaboration. Nice. Okay, good. How about the others? Okay, so if you don't want to raise your hands, Joven, you could type your answers as well. Joven.
Ma'am, we can say a class is a learner centered class when the contribution mostly comes from the students, ma'am. And then the teachers will only give some confirmation about it.
Okay, wow, nice. That's a good word. Confirmation. Okay, very good. So most of the contributions will come from the teacher, the class. Very good. Very good, Joven. How about the others? Don't be shy. You raise your hands. Yes, Marlon.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. Ay, good evening po pala.
Good evening.
Nabigay po ng mga klase ko, which is the most, yung meaning na po talaga, pero po yung bibigay ko is the example.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yung mararamdaman ko po yung yung centered nga po yung sa estudyante. For example po, like po ako, ngayon, nagsasalita po ako. Nagko-contribute po ako ng idea, hindi lang po para sa akin, kundi rin po para sa inyo. Tapos po, nag-contribute yung pag-report po. Ganun po yung para po sa akin yung
Ma'am,
sa
sorry po late. Pasensya na.
Mana pa.
Okay, so for you, reporting is learner-centered. That is one of your examples because you're contributing.
Yes po.
Okay, sige. Thank you. So reporting is an example. What else? John Ian Marquez.
Ano po? I think po yung learner-centered class po, ano po, parang ano po sa exchangings of infos po. Para pong yung bawat nasa class po ay nagbibigay ng opinion. Tapos po yung para pong nakakagain po tayo ng information para mas madagdagan po yung mga kaalaman po natin. Yun po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Gaining information. Okay. So is that not just from the student but also from the teacher? A contributor ng information si student? Is that what you're saying?
Yes po, ma'am. Bali po, ano po, para pong bigayan lang po.
Bigayan. Okay. Thank you. It's nice. Okay, so anything else? Any more? Okay. So I guess, but if you have answers, kagaya na sabi ni Reden, she will monitor. Okay. So your answers, of course, are correct. Number one, what I asked is, when do you feel? Okay. Hindi ko naman sinabi na when is. Okay. So tama. You gave your own examples when you usually feel. Now, dito tayo sa chat box na lang tayo. Thank you, Reden, for monitoring. Which do you prefer? At chat box na lang, a teacher who is the sole discussant or lecturer, or a teacher who gives you enrichment activities? For example, group works, ganon, or lecture, mag-lecture ako. Tapos yung isa naman, more on, let's have a group work. Which do you prefer? Joven said, the teacher who gives enrichment activities. Okay. Lalo sa inyo, PE kayo eh. So, ang hirap pag hindi. Activities, group work, okay. What else? May opinion na lang yung tanong ko, ha? Magsagot yung iba. Joseph, teacher gives activities, group work, okay. So, I guess the next question, thank you, Eunice, group work, Joshua, group work. How about this one? Group task versus individual task. Which do you prefer as a student? Group or individual? Okay, J. Aaron said individual. Both? Individual? Sa online, mahirap mag-group task. Totoo lang. I know I gave you a project. That's why I gave you a 3-month a semester project because mahirap pag isang buwan. Makahirap na isang buwan. It's hard. So I guess those people who said both are depende kung ano yung bigat ng work. Okay. Now, so first to answer, the true chat will receive 3 points. I hope, and I said that part of your assignment is you have a quick review of your lesson for today. So we will have, I think this is 7 questions. First to answer through chat will receive 3 points. First 5 will receive 2 points each. So, then, ang mangyayari is I will have 6. Yung una magsasagot na tama, 3 points. Tapos yung mga susunod na 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sila may 2 points. So, 6 people to. Okay. So, read the questions fast and answer it immediately in the chat box. Okay, let's begin. Question number 1. This philosophy aims to be a closely organized... Ay, sorry. Hindi ako nakashare. Sorry. Wait lang. Hindi guess nakashare. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, yan. Okay. Let's begin. So I'll just put 1. Okay. First question. This philosophy aims to be a closely organized and well-disciplined environment, which develops in students a lifelong quest for the truth. This philosophy aims to be a closely organized and well-disciplined environment, which develops in students a lifelong quest for the truth. What philosophy is that? I hope you answered. Naku, hindi nag-aral. Okay, so I'll give you some philosophies that might ring the bell. We have constructivism, essentialism, progressivism, existentialism, perennialism. Okay, so ano yun? Which philosophy? Naku po. Don't have a guess? Okay, Eunice said perennialism. Okay, puro perennialism. The correct answer is perennialism. Very good. So Eunice will get 3 points, and this first 5 will get 2 points. So question number 2. Okay. It is the philosophy that believes that learning is rooted in the question of learners that arise through experiencing the world. This philosophy believes that learning is rooted in the questions of learners that arise through experiencing the world. What philosophy is this? Same yan. Perennialism, existentialism, constructivism, linguistic philosophy, humanism, existentialism. So ano siya? Okay, ayan, nag-iiba na kayo ng sagot. Let us check. The correct answer is progressivism. So, sino yung nakakuha? Si Eunice ulit. Next time, pag sinabing philosophy, ism. Pag sinabing tao, ist. Okay, so let's have this question. Okay. Next. This philosophy believes that certain categories, example, women, racial groups, dinosaurs, have an underlying reality or true nature that one cannot observe directly. Okay, let us check. The correct answer is essentialism. Very good. Let's have the fourth question. Alam ko may fourth pa yan. Okay, next. This is an approach to learning that holds that people actively construct or make their own knowledge and that reality is determined by the experiences of the learner. Actively.
Ma'am, pasensya na po, nawawala-wala po yung connection.
Okay lang. Okay, let's check. The correct answer is constructivism. Okay. Okay. Next. This philosophy means learning is not an end in itself. Okay, let us check. Correct answer is humanism. Number 6. Give one. Ito medyo madami. Isa lang ha. Apat yata to or 5. Give one specific aspect of learner-centered practice that are crucial in achieving learner-centered teaching. At least one. Let's check. The correct answer is involving students in first-hand learning, giving student choice about teaching students lifelong learning skills, promoting the relevance of learner-centered teaching. Okay. Okay, so we will continue later. So let's have our discussion first. Okay, so Unit 1 na tayo, the learner-centered teaching. Okay, a while ago, I asked you, when do you feel that it's a learner-centered? Now, a teacher who plans for a learner-centered environment is asking this question. Given the context of my students, their course and classroom, will this teaching action optimize my students' opportunity to learn? So, in real sense, ang isang learner-centered teacher, ang importante sa kanya is how the students will learn. Tama yung nasabi nyo kanina, how will you share your experiences? It is focused on the students itself. A learner-centered is very different to teacher-centered. Kasi, in teacher-centered, sabi nga, teacher-centered, si teacher plus si teacher. But in a learner-centered, new learning roles, new responsibilities that far beyond taking notes and passing the test. Dati kasi, if ever na, time will come, a while ago, maybe before, your lolos and lolas or even your parents said, na nung araw, hindi naman ganyan. Madali lang mag-aral. Diba? Sabi nila naman. Kasi dati, your focus is just to pass the test. And everything is solely on you. So, pag bumagsak ka, kasi hindi ka nagpasa, hindi ka nag-aral. But na, bumagsak ka. Bakit? Kasi ikaw lang mag-isa gumagawa ng research mo, nung ikaw ay grade 12 pa lang. So, different process na. Maraming, nag-iba na kasi yung rules. And students have a real control. Unlike before, na si teacher nagde-decide, or more on lecture type, ngayon, we are promoting a different ways. And, dati, kung yung collaboration is just occasional, collaboration in a learner-centered environment is a must, or is always happening. Okay? So, one of the different, an aspect of learner-centered practice is, involving students. A while ago, I asked you, in the first hand of learning, giving students choices about and control of their learning, and teaching students lifelong learning skills, and promoting relevance of learner-centered teaching. As a learner-centered practice involves the students. Yun yung number one doon. It's not just the reporting, but it's all about the activities. And the focus of this one, hindi siya yung sa matutunan nyo, but rather, how will you apply it? Not just for now. It's not just about passing the test, but the different experiences that you will get while doing so. Like for example, di ba ang advice ng mga magulang? Anak, yung ibang magulang na maka-anak, anak, huwag kang mag-alala. Hindi mo naman, pag nalagpasan mo to, tapos na yan, hindi mo na ulitin. Actually, hindi. Kasi, during group works, you will encounter different people that with different views in life. Some, chill-chill lang sila sa pag-aaral. Like, papasok, papakyut, papapogi, papaganda. They just want baon. Some, bakit, alam niyo, hindi, when I was a student, hindi ko gets yung ba't umiiyak yung mga honor students kapag bumabagsak yung grade nila. Hindi ko gets yun. Hindi ko naiintindihan. But, upon seeing my students, alam ko na kung bakit. Kasi, kaya pala sila, kung ikaw, pag nakamali ka ng 10, parang happy ka na. Kasi nung nag-aral ka a night before, but the honor students, hindi. Nag-advanced study sila, nag-review sila, a week, a month, or nung pagkasabi pa lang ng professor nyo during the first day, kinabisado na nila. Tapos hindi nila nakabisado. As you can see, the efforts that the students have, iba-iba pala. Kaya hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, ano ba yun? Ako nga, naka 5 lang eh. Ikaw kasi, nag-review ka kagabi lang. Kaya yung 10 out of, yung score mo na 10 out of 20, okay lang sa'yo. Because the effort that you gave is fine. It's just that, last night. But ako, hindi. I gave effort the moment pa lang na unang araw pa lang sa klase. As in, nag-advanced study ako, diba? Parang may mga ganon. So, hindi ko siya na-gets. Ngayon lang nung nagturo ako. Sorry. Hindi ko siya, tawag dito. Hindi ko siya nag-gets before. Ngayon lang. Wait lang, ha. May meeting daw kami. May klase ko. Sorry. Okay. So, yun. Yun yung hindi mo siya. Kasi, each individual, they have different goals. Kaya pag nag-groupings kayo, it's really hard. Kasi, yun tama si Reden, the long-term and short-term memory. So, sa mga kasi, hindi dahil sa matatalino sila, but rather they have efforts. They have bigger dreams than you. Like, for example, gusto kong pumasok sa UP. Kaya gusto ko maging scholar kasi mahirap lang kami. O, di ba, mga ganon. Pero mataas ang pangarap ko. Pwede ikaw, kasi meron kang nanay or tatay, kapag bumagsak ka sa entrance exam, okay lang kasi pwede ka mag-private school. Maybe, yung kaklase mo, hindi ganon. Di ba? Parang, that's, I just realized it when I was teaching. So, in a learner-centered practice, dito makikita na pag nag-groupings kayo, makikita mo yung mga different types of people. Diba? Okay. Another thing is, give a man a fish. Ito pag learner-centered. Ito yung laging quotes. Ang dami pinanggalingan ito. Sabi, isang Chinese proverb. Sabi dito sa taong to, kay Confucius daw. So, whatever it is, this is important for us. Give a man a fish and you can feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Ano ibig sabihin niya, Ma'am Daya? Ibig sabihin niya, hindi lamang po yan sa hindi lang po yan for other people na yung sa bahay, sa pamumuhay, but rather sa klase. Kapag tinuruan mo yung bata na nag-lecture ka, kagaya ng sabi ni Reden, ng short-term memory. Like, for example, okay, klase tayo. Pero nag-lecture ako. Okay, so lecture ko kayo, bahala kayo. Malalaman nyo, hindi, wala akong pakialam. Tapos natapos ako, tapos after no, nag-review kayo, nakapasa kayo ng test. Tapos na. But it will not go to the long-term memory. If you will be taught to fish, you will be taught how to do this. Paano ba mag-review? Ano bang strategy yung kailangan? So, it will make a difference. So, ganun kasi sa learner-centered environment. I know if you're familiar, kaya lang kasi, ito yung uson during my childhood. And I don't have a kid. Wala akong asawa at anak. Kaya hindi ko na alam kung ano yung, wala kaming bata. So, ang nadidinig ko lang is Coco Melon. So, ito lang. During our time, we have the Sesame Street. Although hindi ko siya masyadong pinapanood, naboboringan ako sa kanya. Blue's Clues and Dora the Explorer. So, these people, sabi nila, bakit ba patok yan sa bata? And some people will say, ma'am, kasi colorful. Kasi it's cartoons. But aside from that, one of the reasons why this cartoons is very important, sometimes kasi, they ask questions. Like, for example, kay Dora, kabisado ko lang where do we ask for help when we don't know which way to go? Tapos, mag-ihinto siya. So, yung bata, mag-iisip. It will ask. It's very interactive. Kinakausap ka ni Dora. That's the difference. Kasi sa teacher-centered, hindi. Okay, if you have problem, ask Map. So, sabi ni Map ganito. Diba? Parang gano'n. Okay? So, pag bata, tinanong siya ni Dora, where do we ask for help when we don't know which way to go? Si bata. Si Map. Tapos pupurihin mo pa, very good, that's correct. It's the map. Okay, so yung mga ganong bagay. Okay? So, kaya nagiging very popular sa kids. And ay natatandaan nila. Okay, so let's have another round of isms. Okay, question number 7. You ready? Was lost. Okay. Question number 7 emphasizes on learning by doing. Let's have a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The correct answer is, sorry. Wait. Progressivism. Ayan, sorry. Next is question number 8. This philosophy played a major role in the Renaissance period. Renaissance period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The correct answer is Humanism. Very good. Let's have this one. Question number 9. Rewards within self. Anong tawag doon? Rewards within self. Hindi siya ism. What do you call rewards within self? Rewards. Pag nire-reward natin yung sarili natin. What do we call that? Okay? So, mukhang hindi nila alam. The answer is intrinsic intrinsic rewards. Okay. Question number 10. It is also known as cognitive constructivism. Cognitive constructivism. Okay. So, wala din. Hindi nila alam. It's fine. The correct answer is individual constructivism. Thank you, Joven. Sabay tayo, so you will receive 3 points. Okay, let's continue our discussion. Okay, so unit 2 na tayo. Okay, the paradigm shift from teacher-centered to learner-centered teaching. We will discuss the different teacher-centered philosophy. Actually, we only have 2. So the first one is essentialism. Essentialism is from the idealism of Plato, that all things have such an essence of form. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na certain categories. So, ang men sa men, ang women sa women, racial groups. Classrooms are teacher-oriented, and it's more on lecture type. Okay, lecture type. So, relatively conservative ang mga teachers dito. And it's very important for them, the essentials, the reading, writing, arithmetic, and right conduct. This is very important to the essentialism. The core curriculum of the essentialism is this. It's around the environment, the basic natural laws to promote happier and more educated, very good within basic skills, natural disciplines to promote happier, more educated learning. Okay? Teachers, not rather to transmit, reshape. Okay, so tatandaan niyo dito. A while ago, you told me that a learner-centered is a facilitator si teacher. So, which means na si teacher will guide the students. Puro ganun yung sabi niyo kanina. But, in a teacher-centered, tingnan niyo to. Transmit the traditional, teachers, not rather to transmit or reshape the society, but to transmit the traditional moral values and intellectual knowledge that students needs to become model citizens. Hindi po tayo magiging facilitator, but we will transmit the knowledge. So, yung mga natutunan ng araw, ita-transmit natin para sa matutunan nila in the future. So, yun po para maging isa tayo model citizens. That is essentialism. And the curriculum, of course, has math, natural sciences, history, foreign language, and literature. Pag meron ang essentialism. And frown upon vocational courses or other courses that water down academic content. This is the reason why those people before, time 70s yata itong essentialism, they prefer yung mga jobs and works and school na talagang more on about these things, yung mga magdo-doktor, the doctor, lawyers, nurses nga, hindi masyado kasi mas prefer talaga nila yung doktor. Teachers, okay, so those people. It gives little to no emphasis to the students' interests. And the teachers must have the mastery of the subject matter, intellectual and moral values, and the paragon of virtue. When we say paragon, you're the highest state. Okay, so this is why the teachers during essentialism, sobrang hirap magturo. Because everything that you did, everything that you do is always looked upon by the students. Kasi dapat paragon ng virtue ka. Sobrang bigat ng tingin nila sa mga teachers during that time. And the teachers must be rigid and disciplinary. And imagine, ito medyo may hirapan kayo dito mga PE teachers. Because they believe in order, that effective teaching cannot occur in the loud and disorganized environment. Paano tayo magpapa-PE ng tahimik? So ano kayo, muro chess, can learn mag-chess kayo. Although, military din naman part siya. Values, respect for authority, perseverance, fidelity to duty, consideration for others, practicality, and intellectual knowledge that students need to become a model citizens. The proponent is William Bagley. Actually, when I was reading this one, parang sabi ko, pakabigat. Parang ang hirap magklase. Pero at least, what you will just do is you will just listen to the class. Magle-lecture ka lang, ipapasa mo yung exam. So definitely, magre-review ka, review. So wala ka nang iisipin na group works. Uwi ka sa bahay, magre-review ka. Yun lang yung gagawin mo kaysa mapahiya ka sa klase. That's why one of the pictures that I have shared is Snape. If ever if you watch Harry Potter, one of he's very popular for being like that kind of person. Now let's have the perennialism. So kanina, it's about the arithmetic essentials. But when perennialism, it's different. Because it teaches to reason and develop minds that can think critically. So it's very important for the teachers to help the students think critically. Although it's still teacher-centered kasi closely organized si classroom, a well-disciplined environment which develops students' lifelong quest for the truth. That's why ito sa mga perennialism and essentialism, ito yung kung paano nag-aaral sila na tahimik. Sa atin, di ba, hindi na ganun eh. May music. Ako, pag nag-aaral, may Netflix or nanonood ako ng anime or TV. But to some people, they prefer a very quiet environment, walang kahit anong music, just them and the books. So, yun, during perennialism, ganun sila. So, whatever works for them. So, focuses on everlasting ideas and universal truths. And this one suggests that education's focus should be the ideas had lasted for centuries, believing that the ideas as relevant as meaningful today as when they were written. Yes, very good, Reden. Actually, that's what I was about to tell you. That perennialism, may kinalaman siya dun sa mga tinatawag natin na sa Tagalog, subok na. Okay? So, naniniwala sila since it is from the different centuries na talaga na na-pass na sa atin siya. Naipasa siya sa atin and reversal truth. So, kahit anong mangyari, it is true. Yun dapat yung malaman ng mga bata. So, yun yung pinagkaiba niya sa essentialism. More on about, ito. Students learn from reading and analyzing the works by history finest thinkers and writers. Kaya when it comes to perennialism, babalikan natin yung mga thinkers talaga, which is usually the Western, like the different philosophers, Aristotle, yung mga ganyan. So, kabog na kabog dyan ang perennialism. Gusto nila yan. Kasi, universal truth eh. And aside from that, teach students to reason and develop minds that can think. Perennialist classroom aims to be a closely organized and well-disciplined. Umulit. Nahanap ko kanina umulit eh. Okay. So, the epitomize a prepared effort to make these ideas available to students and guide their thought process towards understanding the great works of the finest thinkers. Okay. So, naniniwala sila dito na transcend time and never become outdated. Diba sa research natin, pag kayo tinatanong ng mga teacher nyo or pinagdi-discuss kayo, pinag-ano kayo ng mga related studies, 5 years lang. Diba? But, if ever that this person, for example, kay Aristotle, centuries na yan nag-last, pwede pa rin siya. Pwede pa rin siyang gamitin. Kasi nga, it is truth. This is a universal truth. Kaya pwede siyang gamitin. Okay? So, for them, ganun dapat. Master of the content and development of reasoning skills, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Skills are developed sequentially. For example, reading, writing, and speaking and listening are emphasized in the early grades to prepare them for the study for literature, history, and philosophy. So, ito yung spiral. Sa perennialism, spiral ang curriculum. Paano? For example, nung bata ka, nag-aral ka, ayan, kagaya ng sinabi dito, nag-start kayo to how to read, how to write. Why? They are preparing you sa mas malaki na magbabasa ka ng pabigat yung literature mo. Nagsimula ka sa picture books, pabigat ng pabigat, paliit ng paliit, pabigat ng pabigat yung learnings. And aside from that, speaking and listening, everything is taught. Tapos paano siya, pahirap ng pahirap. So, spiral. Okay? Perennialist classroom are also centered on teachers to accomplish these goals. The teachers are not concerned about the students' interest. Wala silang pakialam sa gusto niyo. And they use to tried and true teaching methods, we believe the most beneficial to disciplining the students' minds. So more on think siya. Curriculum is universal and is based on their view that all human beings possess the same essential nature. So naniniwala sila na, kaya lang hindi siya pwede ngayon kasi we don't believe that each human being is the same. Magkaibang thought process natin. So, sapat sa perennialism, they believe that they have one. Perennialists think that it is important that individuals think deeply, analytically, flexibly, and imaginatively. They emphasize that students should not be taught information that may soon be outdated. So, hindi sila paboro sa mga research na hindi naman, that will not last forever. Kaya sila more on dun sa mga lasted sa mga centuries. So, mga subok na. Perennialists disapprove of teachers requiring students to absorb massive amounts of disconnected information. They recommend the schools spend more time teaching about concepts and explaining their meaning to students. So, pero usually yan, about history. Ayun, isa pa ito na idadagdag nyo rin din is that more on religion and history siya. The instructors would use religious books and historical documents. So, the proponent of this one is Robert Hutchins. And I will have the student-centered. So, kanina, teacher-centered, we'll have the student-centered. Progressivism is educational movement that gives more value to experience than formal learning. So, a while ago, dalawa, kita na natin difference between the essentialist and the perennialist. So, tapos na tayo doon. Dito na tayo sa bata. So, they believe that it's very important for the people, for the students to experience kesa dun sa former learning. So, which is talaga nagko-contradict na si progressivism sa essentialism and perennialism. Experiential learning concentrates on the development of a child's talents. So, this one, in a progressive, kino-consider na the talent of the students. Multiple intelligences. Like, for example, the students can dance. So, meron tayong activity na even if it's math, baka pwedeng i-incorporate. Okay, diba? Pwedeng mag-collaborate si math at PE. yung TikTok na plus, minus. Hindi naman doon. But rather, there might be something na pwede niyong gawin. Kaya, pero which is good. Why? Kasi, actually, for example, ginawa sa school namin ito, nagkaroon ng parang, ano yung tawag? Amazing Race, na yung mga, yung of course, si tatakbo-takbo, agility, something like that, na gano'n. Si PE ang nag-check. Pero yung mga isinusolve nila, math. Di ba? Yung mga lessons sa math. So, it's really hard. Pero ang astig nun kasi talagang gumagana yung process ng bata. May cooperation. Tapos, ang kagandahan nun, isang grade na dun sa isang activity. Enjoy sila. Okay, so yun. At saka yun, pagkasama si math, magre-review yung mga bata. So, ang astig siya, maganda. Sa amin nga, biomechanics, math, PE, science po, like that po ba? Yes, pwede siyang pagsama-samahin. Okay. So, sa amin naman sa English, sinama namin si PE kasi during that time, nagkaroon kami ng parang ang lesson nila sa PE noon ay mga modern dance. Modern dance ba? Forgot Meron silang nasayaw. So ngayon, yung play sa No Limit Tangere, hinaluan nila ng sayaw. Mga ganon na, kung ano lang yan, kaya lang ang gulo, pero ang saya. Okay. So minsan sumasali ang physics sa akin sa mga imagine, nagiging sci-fi na ang No Limit Tangere. Pero ang saya kasi yung mga bata, kung ano-ano yung naiisip nila, na pwede, na, ba't hindi natin gawin na parang cyborg si Dr. Jose Rizal, si Dr. Jose Rizal? Si Juan Crisostomo Ibarra. Ibahin natin yung story. So, yung creativity nila, maganda. And besides, aside from that, yung mga students na magaling sa thinking, nakakaayos sila. Sa concept designing, sa t-shirt, sa lahat lumalabas siya, which is good. Progressivism believes that education should focus on the whole child, then on the content or the teacher. So the educational philosophy stresses that students should test ideas through active experimentation. Like, for example, um, instead of asking, for example, kayo, di ba, lalo sa PE, marami kayong mga pinapagawa sa mga bata na hindi ko alam bakit pag nagpa-touchball sa PE, talagang hulas ka. Yung nakikipag-touchball ka naman sa mga kalaro mo sa kapitbahay, pero pag sinabi ng PE teacher mo na touchball tayo, talagang as in hulas lahat. Talagang may nanghihina. Naranasan namin yun na, grabe, college kami, nagkakatakbo kami kasi nagta-touchball. Na, yung talaga na wala namang isang oras na tumatakbo kasi hindi naman gano'n yung mabilis magkaubusan. Pero yung katawan mo, nahihina na, but it's really good, PE, yun. So, napakasaya ng mga lessons namin. So, kayo, lagi kayo nag-i-incorporate, o di ba? Like, for example, ngayon, sabi niyo, paano yan, virtual? Ano nangyari? Ano ginawa niyo? Nagpa-virtual Zumba, o di ba? Dati, kala niyo, hindi niyo kayang gawin, isa kayong gawa ganon. Okay. Yung pinsan ko din dito, nag-ano siya, yung, sa nursing sila, parang physical fitness. O, di ba na ano natin? Kasi, kaysa sabihin nyo na ganito yung mga pwedeng gawin, pagawa nyo talaga din sa bata. Which is very good. And nakikita nyo yung creativity nila. Nakikita nyo, sino dito yung kung magaling sumayaw, yung magaling sa basketball, magaling sa different sports. Yun. It's nice. Learning is rooted in the questions of learners that arise through experiencing the world. Believe that individuality, progress, and change are fundamental to one's education. So, progress is very important. Kaya nga progressivism, lahat ng makaka-benefit sa pag-asenso ng isang bata, under siya nito. We believe that people learn best from what they consider most relevant in their lives. Progressivism center their curriculum, students' needs, experiences, interests, and abilities. My dear students, especially in BPED, you know naman that PE is a subject na lagi nilang dinidisregard ng bata. Because they will say, kahit naman sa DepEd, inis na inis yung kasamahan ko. Kasi ba't daw, tingnan mo yung module nila. Ang nakalagay dun sa PE, para daw maging masaya. sabi ng isa, basta parang sa English, ganito mga essential. Tapos magdating sa PE, masaya. Hindi naman dapat ganun lang. So, there should be much more. Kasi PE is not just the physical education, sort of. May mga under, yan. So, ngayon, nasa teacher, so that your subject would be effective, hanapan niyo siya na, aside from sabihin niyo to be physically fit, aside from sabihin niyo na gano'n, so you will be physically fit. Aside sabihin niyo nun, humanap kayo ng real-life examples in which your subjects could be connected to other subjects and the importance of your subject para anahin ng bata talaga, to inspire them. Hindi naman na ma-feel nila na pa-major. Hindi yun But rather, alam niyo naman ng mga bata, pag tinatanong, bakit ma'am pinag-aaralan pa namin yung pag-solve ng triangle? Nagagamit ba yun pag bumili sa tindahan? Bibili ka ng candy, kailangan ba mag-solve ng triangle? Hindi naman. Di ba yun ang question sa math? Now, if the teachers will tell them the real-life application in which they could use that, maybe some aspiring architect, mga ganyan, diba, pwede silang mag-isip. And so are you sa PE. Sa akin sa English, nahanapan ko na madali lang kasi sa English dahil communication skills kami, which is very important. Lahat kayo dapat marunong mag-English. Tandaan nyo, time will come, pupunta kayo sa demo. English is very important. It's easy to, kahit sabihin nyo, ma'am, hindi. You should know how to speak English. Kasi, baka ang inyong kapalaran ay nasa abroad. So, the newer progressive teaching of methods are based on philosophy of John Dewey, that education is life, growth, reconstruction of human experience, and social process. So, as a progressivist teacher, isip kayo kung paano nyo marerelay yung subject mo. Lalo, diba, kayo po ay gumagawa ng teacher's pack. Isipin mo kung paano mo marerelay yung subject mo sa bata. Yun ang lagi niyong iisipin. That is learner-centered. Hindi po pwede na basta masabi mo lang, but rather, you let them realize what will happen if they will, hindi naman focus on your subject, but rather if they take your subject seriously. What is the benefit? Kasi dapat meron. Math, bakit kailangan mag-math? Science, bakit kailangan science? Health, part pala ng PE yun. O, diba? Bakit kailangan? So, you should provide that. Paghandaan nyo na yan so that your students would take you seriously. Kasi dapat lahat ng subjects tinitake seriously. Kasi importante ang lahat ng subject. Okay? The main goal of the new method is personality development through proper stimulation, direction, and guidance. So guidance and counseling is also important for progressivism so that students could go hand in hand with the regular methods and techniques. So kinikater natin talaga yung estudyante. Dati daw, ano yan eh, kaya yung teacher talaga nagtuturo lang. Kasi turo lang talaga. But now it's hard kasi sa teacher nagiging guidance counselor ka pa. So the new methods place more emphasis on thinking and less upon memorizing. So more on application siya in which you could apply. So dapat alam niyo kung saan i-apply yan. According to this, progressive education programs have these qualities in common. Number one, it emphasizes on learning by doing. So hands-on projects. So like for example, nagkaroon kami ng physics 2 eh. Tapos sabi ni sir, ano kami sa Ladahay kasi ako nag-aaral. Kaya teacher namin, okay, magkakaroon tayo ng project sa inyong field trip. Galit kami, nagkulo ba naman yan, field trip, tapos may project, blah, 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 blah. I know the story. Now, sabi niya, di ba field trip, that is part of dapat may, gano'n sabi niya, okay. Yung burger patty. Okay. So, di ba ganon? Alam mo ginawa ng teacher namin? Ginawa ng teacher namin sa physics, pinakompute niya. Yung, alam niyo sa Flying Fiesta? Nakasakay kami doon, nagbibilang kami. Ilang ikot si Flying Fiesta. Tapos, may compute siya eh. Basta may kinompute kami doon. So, bilang kami. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapos lahat, nagbilang kung ano-ano yung binilang namin. Tapos, nag-interview kami kasi hinapahanap yung history ng ilalagay sa introduction, history daw ng Enchanted Kingdom. Sabi namin, grabe. Pero nag-enjoy ako. So, when I became a teacher, ginaya ko yun. Gaya-gaya ng style ng mga different teacher. Nagpa-vlog ang ate mo. Nagpa-vlog ako sa mga English students ko. So, nagpa-vlog ako para makita nila importance ng communication skills. Kaya lang, at saka ang ginawa ko, yung subtitles, medyo mabigat. Masama ugali ko eh. Yung subtitles, dapat kasi English sila nagba-vlog. So, yung subtitles, lahat yon. Kasi ang lesson namin, parts of speech. Imagine niyo yung subtitles doon, color coding. The color signifies kung ano ang part ng speech niya. Kunwari, the, part ng article. The fish is swimming. So, yung fish, under siya ng noun. Is, linking verb siya, so verb. Swimming, verb. Is swimming. Okay, so nag-iiba-iba yung kulay nung Sobrang hirap nun. Pero ginagawa akong project sa kanila. Pero nag-enjoy sila kasi natutunan nila yung different parts of speech. Ayun. Kaya nag-vlog sila. Ayun. Pero nag-enjoy naman sila. Kaya lagi silang sumasama sa field trip. Kasi lagi ako may pa-activity. Dahil kailangan. Okay. Okay, integrated curriculum focus on thematic units, integration of entrepreneurship in education. So it's very important na tuturuan natin sila ng entrepreneurship. Lalo skill na ngayon yan, kailangan nilang matutong magbenta kasi sa hirap ng buhay ngayon. Magkagamit nila yan in the future. Baka you could do something, my dear students, from your subjects na pwede nyong magamit nila yung entrepreneurial skills nila. Group work and development of social skills. Lagi yan, meron si PE. Diba? Magkaka-cheer dance. Ayun pala, cheer dancing. Kaya, yung play namin, nagka-cheer dance. Kasi, kailangan sa PE. Ayun pala yun. Cheer dancing sila. So, just imagine. yung seryosong play, tapos may cheer dancing sa huli na ipinasok nila sa story. Okay, so ipinasok nila sa story. So, it's really good yung creativity ng mga bata, dire-diretso. Which, time will come, magagamit nila. Kasi karamihan naman ngayon, kahit anong courses, may may mga ganyan. Okay, so collaborative learning projects. Education for social responsibility and democracy, highly personalized learning accounting for each individual's personal goals. So each of us have different goals. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa kanila kanina, sa inyo kanina. So all of us have different goals in our life. So we need to, as a teacher, hanggat maaari, we need to provide this. Integration of community service, ayan, and service learning projects into the daily curriculum. Selection of subject content by looking forward to asking what skills will be needed in the future. Yun yung tatanong. So that the students will really learn from you. Yun lagi yung tinatanong. What can I do for my students so they could apply this in the future? Okay? Humanism naman tayo. Malapit na tayo. Humanism is a belief that education is good for a person, is also best for the nation well-being. Sabi dito, kapag kunwari, each individual, humanism, okay, each individual is good, in collection, magiging okay ang ating nation. So the individual learner is not regarded as passive or at least a managed recipient of input. She is a choosing or selecting organism. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa kanila. You know, I know I'm wrong, pero I don't join politics talk. Kasi, I have this point. Diba, bakit, kunwari, dito na lang tayo sa dalawang, bakit mo gustong iboto tong taong to? You have your facts, ngayon, sabi ng isa, hindi, ano yan, ganito yan, hindi yan maganda, wag siya, ano yan ganito yan. Ika-counterfact naman siya ng isa. Diba? Nagkaka-counterfactan sila. And, hindi rin naman, kung you're sharing your opinion, hindi rin naman tatanggapin ng isa. Kasi ang politics and religion, yan yung dalawang bagay na hindi mo masabi kung alin ang tama. Kasi sometimes, yung pinili mo namang kandidato, hindi naman pala ayos. Diba? Marami nang naging ganyan. Bumoto ka, binoto, kaya ng nanay mo, tapos in the end, hindi pala okay. Yes, respect the opinion ng bawat isa. Although sinasabi niya, di ba, ayan na nga, respect the opinion ng bawat isa. Tapos sabi ng iba, excuse me, this is politics. It's very important na piliin nyo kung sino yung dapat, ganito, ganyan. Kaya lang kasi nga, may iba't ibang anyway, we're rational beings, and it's fine. It's okay to rationalize. Bakit mo siya iboboto? Bakit siya na religion mo? It cannot be understood by the others. It's what you want. Diba? So, that's easy. Kaya hindi ako nakikipagtalo. For example, may sabi sa akin, sino ba boboto mo? Pero sabi ko, ito. Bakit mo boboto? Kailangan pala to. Alam ko naman na kung saan mapupunta yung usapan. So, hindi ko na siya sinasagot. Gusto ko siya. Alam mo ba na ganito, ganyan, ganyan? Okay. Yung alam mo yung magiging passive na lang. Kasi ayoko kasi hindi siya yung debatable in a way na you have your own facts, I have my own facts, I am researching, you're researching, we have different sources. Okay? Hindi din mag-aaway lang. Pero yung iba gustong-gusto nila. So, that's what they want. And it's also fine. Kung gusto nilang makipagdebate sa kanilang mga chosen people, it's also fine because they are rational beings. We are thinking beings. Okay lang yan. Kaya lang, kung yun yung gusto nila, gawin nila. Okay? So, kung gusto nila makipagdebate, sige lang. Umagana yung utak nila. Diba? So, wag lang yung diba, yung parang, di wow, Jeva. Wag na gumana. So, if you're losing, your facts are not that factual or whatsoever, or kulang yung facts na bit-bit mo, huwag kang magiging ganun talaga. Marami siyang baon kasi ni-research niya, kasi gusto niya talaga yung candidate. Ganun. Okay. Jeva. Kasi napipikon yung iba. Wala na kasing masagot. Tatalo sila. O, di ba? Ayan. So, it centers in human values, interests, capacities, needs, works, and dignity. So, learning refers to acquisition of new knowledge, behavior, skills, and values through a process of a study, practice, and experience. So, experience pa rin is the key. During Renaissance period, humanism played a major role in education. We cannot deny that this is true. Kasi di ba, during the Renaissance, it is the rebirth. Maraming nangyari sa Renaissance. So, humanism is very important. Kasi about siya sa self, about siya sa Christianity. So, we know about religion, most probably, although I know some of you will say, Ma'am, ideas ako, I'm sorry. Okay, so, but we know doon na lang tayo sa part, kasi I don't also meddle with religious things. Doon na lang tayo sa part that the teachings, doon lang sa teachings, not the people, but the teachings in the Christianity, yung mga ano doon, respect, yung love your neighbor, something, yung mga doon lang tayo sa part na yon. It's very good. Maganda naman talaga siya. Sabi nga nila, di ba, religion is good, but the people, yung tao, sila yung hindi. So, yun. So, overall, humanist education was thought at the time to be an important factor in the preparation of life. Its main goal was to improve the lives of citizens kasi nga they are from, nasa Renaissance period sila eh. So, they really need something to help them. Kasi before Renaissance, di ba, ang dami. May war, may kung ano-ano. So, maraming pa. Okay. What is the psychology in humanism? It's a perspective that emphasizes looking at the whole individual and stresses concepts of such as free will, self-efficacy, and self-actualization. It's very important, the self-actualization. Rather than concentrate on dysfunction, humanistic psychology strives to help people fulfill their potential and maximize their well-being. Diba tayo, meron tayong tinatawag na self-actualization. Yun yung laging binabanggit ng nanay ko, the Maslow's, the hierarchy of living. Hierarchy of living ba yun? Oh, yeah. Sa self-actualization, yun yung sa dulo. Kapag happy ka na, masaya ka na, pwede ka nang mamatay. Okay, may mga ganon, di ba? Na talagang lahat ng gusto mo, nagawa mo na. To some people, maaga nila na-fulfill yun. To some, hindi. Some, they died without having the self-actualization. But it's very different pag meron ka na daw na ganon. So, ipinopromote natin as teachers, ito. Okay, so we help them. That everybody has free will, everybody has self-efficacy, may kanya-kanya tayong place. So, yeah. And the curriculum is based from the belief that education is good for a person, is also best for the well-being of the nation. Kaya, the individual is not regarded as passive. Pero, the person is self-selecting organism. Kaya, in choosing, we teachers, pag humanistic ka, you help your students to, kumbaga parang you're just guide, nandyan ka lang, ano si humanistic, makatao. Okay, so makatao siya. Okay. Humanism was developed as an educational philosophy by Rousseau, so ang tagal ni 1712 to 778. And Pestalozzi, who emphasizes nature and the basic goodness of humans, understanding through the senses and education as a gradual and unhurried process, which the development of human character follows the unfolding nature. So, medyo matagal-tagal po. Okay? Hindi ko na siya anahin. Ibasa na lang sa inyo. Okay, so describe the four basics of humanism. One, they promote and develop positive self-direction and independence. So, ang ano sa humanism is magsasarili yung bata. Iyaan natin siya, i-guide natin siya so that he or she could be on her own. Develop the ability to take responsibility for what is learned, promote and develop creativity, and promote and develop curiosity. Yan ang humanism. Now, let's have constructivism. It is an approach to learning that holds that people actively construct or make their own knowledge, that reality is determined by the experiences of the learner. Kaya nga, constructivism, you construct. Okay? So, the learners construct. It is based on the belief that learning occurs actively na the learners is the makers of their knowledge. It's an approach that holds the experiences of learner. Teka lang, parang may mali. May mali dito. Ulit-ulit. Yung pala yung ulit. Okay. Says that learners bring their personal experience into the classroom. So, I think kanina may nagsabi na sharing. Nag-uusap, nagpapalitan ng ideas. Sometimes, lalo na if, for example, the subject is more about philosophy, pwede siyang palitan ng ideas, exchange of ideas tayo. Pwede ganun. It's from experiences, so doon kayo nag-share. Like, for example, siguro sa sa PE, meron kayong tinatawag na health. Alam ko, magkaganon yan eh, PE tsaka health. Na, sometimes, since si teacher hindi naman niya na-experience lahat, and a student could share. Like, for example, sa health, alam ko may tinatakil sila minsan na about, medyo mabigat, pero siguro about sa mental health. Okay, sa health, sa mental health. Maybe si teacher, wala siyang ganung problem. But, when she asked, and someone volunteered, na meron siyang kakilala or experience or siya mismo, and she's willing to share, nag-share sa klase na kanya experiences. It's different. Kasi ito tao to eh. This is a real person who's imparting knowledge. Eh, hindi mo alam sa teacher. Another thing, kaya minsan sa PE, kayo minamahal ng mga bata. There, one of my colleagues, kinukwento niya, alam mo ba, umamin na si nabading siya. Umamin siya sa klase. Sabi ko, really? Oo, kasi part ng lesson namin na parang, you will stand in front, health yun eh. You'll stand in front, and then, you will say something. Tapos yun yung sinabi niya. Na parang, marami nag-iiyakan, something like that. And, sabi niya, ano to, open forum? No, as a teacher, you will learn something. You could learn something by, okay, this is how I deal. This is how I could teach my students next time na ganito pala, na ito pala yung nararamdaman ng ganitong klaseng problema, na ganito pala. So, yun. So, constructivism, kasi may mga bata na minsan mas magagaling pa sa atin. Totoo yan. Kasi naman, yung mga ibang bata, may sarili silang interest. Okay, mapipikon ha, pag kunwari nagkaroon kayo ng estudyante na mas matalino pa sa inyo. Promote learning. Pag kunwari, may lumabas na, may iba kasi alam niya, nagagalit sila. Pag kunwari, yung bata matanong, mapagsabi ng mga opinion, hindi dapat, hindi nyo sinishutdown yung ganong bata. Hindi gamitin mo yung ganong klase ng bata. You allow them to share. Nasasaya, But, iyaano mo lang natatime pa rin sa klase. Sabi mo, okay, sige, next time ha, when you want to share something, make it quick. Okay. So, si bata, matutulungan mo pa siya that he or she is sharing what they know in a very quick way. O, diba? Nakatulong ka pa sa bata. Okay? So, sometimes, huwag kang napipikon. Iba kasi napipikon pag feeling nila nagmamagaling yung bata. Hindi naman gusto ng bata na mag-share. Kasi nga, may nabasa siya, which is relatable naman, and related sa discussion. Characteristic of constructivism is learner construct understand. New learning depends on current understanding, and learning is facilitated by social interaction. Meaningful learning occurs with authentic learning tasks. So, I guess as PE teachers, marami kayong authentic task na pwedeng paggawa sa bata. Yun nga lang, medyo delikado ha. Kasi, kasi sa PE, dahil nga more on physikalan, PE nga physikalan. Okay. May mga na-aksidente talaga. Like, for example, some of my colleagues na-aksidente yung Junakis ko. Bakit? Ano nangyari? Naglalaro sila na part naman ng lesson. Sumadsad. Yun lang medyo mahirap. But, they know na they understand, they learn better pag authentic. Kaya, a while ago, I was sharing this to the other class. I don't know if you know of Poveda. Poveda is a school sa Manila. Doon, kinukwento ng kasamahan ko, doon kasi siya nag-work. Alam niyo yung field trip nila? Hindi, hindi siya sa ano, hindi, yung field trip nila, hindi lang po siya sa, tawag dito, yung mga iba, di ba, sa Greenbelt, sa mga, hindi. Ang field trip nila, yung mga bata, pindadala nila sa fire station. Sabi ko, bakit dun? Eh, di ba, ang lesson namin, naka-under ng curriculum ha, ang lesson kasi namin is yung mga community helpers. So, dinala namin sila sa fire station para makakita sila ng real-life firefighters. Diba? So, it's really authentic. The students, not just from pictures and videos, but they could see ano ang itsura ng fire station, ano itsura ng firefighters, ng mga lahat. Okay, so di ba? It's very cool. Okay? So, two views of constructivism we have, individual and social. When we say individual, it is also called cognitive constructivism. So it's from Piaget's theory, proponents this type, child-centered and discovery learning. They believe that learners should be allowed to discover principles through their own exploration. Kaya medyo matagal. Medyo matagal din po si constructivism. As you can see, sa perennialism and sa perennialism, essentialism, tapos agad yung lesson. Pero dito, sa lahat ng student-centered, apakatagal matapos. Minsan hindi mo matatapos yung lesson pag puro student-centered. Kasi about siya sa own exploration. Eh magkakaiba tayo ng timeline sa buhay. Social constructivism naman, this view emphasis that knowledge exists in a social context and is initially shared with others instead of being presented solely in the mind of an individual. Hence, construction of knowledge is shared by two or more people. According to social constructivists, the opportunity to interact and share among learners help to shape and refine their ideas. So ito yung pwedeng nag-uusap kayo, nagbe-brainstorming about these certain topics, these certain philosophies. And malapit na tayo doon for it. Existentialism, kung kanina, sa humanism about human, but this one, about the existence. Kaya nga existentialism, niloloko mo lang kami. Hindi. Kasi, kanina ginaguide mo sila sa yung humanism about the self, pero dito sa existentialism, you're helping them to realize kung ba't sila nag-exist. Na minsan, until now, actually, honestly, as of the moment, there are times that I don't know why I existed. Is it because of teaching? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm good at it. Diba? Parang ganon. But, sometimes nagba-bounce back naman. Okay, sige, trabaho na lang. Balik tayo, nagtuturo ako. So, maybe ito ang calling ko. So, sometimes you help the students, especially those who have real problems sa kanilang existence na yun hirap sa part ng teacher kasi you need to guide them. So help students identify their own essence by exposing them to various paths they take in life, by creating an environment which they freely choose their own preferred way. So instead of saying, ito, one of the no limitang hiri, sensya kong no limitang hiri na mabanggit ko kasi yun yung lesson namin. Instead na sabihin mo na, Dr. Rizal is a national hero. And he was killed, blah, blah, blah. Instead sabihin mo ganun. Pwede mo sabihin in what way you are like Dr. Rizal? And then the students will ask, meron ba akong katangian na kamukha ni Dr. Rizal? Okay, parang gano'n, may isip sila, no? So, pwede yun. Or, you could use it as a model for the students. Yan. Learning is self-paced and self-directed. So, dito sa existentialism, teachers are non-judgmental. Hindi ka mag-judge. Kasi each individual came from different family, different orientation, and values are personal. I actually believe that the values are personal. Ang hirap i-define kung anong tama at mali. Bakit? Kasi sa pamamahay nila, hindi naman sila ganun. Like for example, balik tayo sa politiko. Kaya tanong ko yun sa nanay ko o kaya doon sa nagnanakaw na politiko. Kunwari sa ganun part. ba't sila nagnanakaw? Bakit yung mga anak nila okay lang na nagnanakaw, na hindi parang hindi bothered or whatsoever? Is it really because maganda yung tinatamasa nilang buhay? Or because they are conditioned na yung ginagawa ng kanilang family, ng kanilang parents ay tama? Diba? Like for example, babaan natin ng konti. Sa amin, sa bahay namin, I don't know, any one of you, kung pareho tayo, sino sa inyo yung sabay-sabay kumakain sa bahay? Yung, for example, breakfast or dinner or whatsoever, basta may sa 3 meals, meron silang sabay-sabay kakain. Meron ba sa inyo na sabay-sabay kayo kumakain? Kami, ayan, si J. Aaron. Sila daw. How about the others? Si J. Aaron lang? Ayan, kami. So, kami po. Okay. Yes po. Ayan, si Marlon, si Veronica, si John, Benedict, Joanne. Ayan, kami. Sila daw. Okay. Si Tobias, si Matthew, si Eunice. Ayan. So, sa mga binabanggit ko, yung mga nagme-message na yan, may mga hindi nagme-message. So, some of them, hindi sila sabay-sabay. Pero ayon sa sinasabi, di ba? Ang pamilya dapat sabay-sabay kumakain. Pero, hindi mo siya masabi na mali sila. Kasi, what if kung hindi naman pwede? Paano kung call center isa? Or paano kung hindi sila nakasanayan? Or paano yung nanay kasi yung isa na late pagod, nag-aral niya, nagmerienda, busog pa, pipilitin mo bang kumain yung gutom? Mga ganun. So, hindi. Kaya nagkakaroon ng problema minsan pag nag-aasawa din. Kung meron man sa inyo extended family, nakita na yung nag-asawa yung kanilang na nahihirapan, pati sa pagkain, nagiging problem. Okay. So, but as a teacher, as an existentialist teacher, you cannot judge ka. Di ba yan? Mali yan. Nung bata ako, hindi ko kasi alam, sabi, magbigay ng rules sa bahay. Ang nakalagay dun sa kaklase ko, ang sa akin, bawal magsinungaling, bawal magmura, gano'n. Kasi bata pa ako nun. Yun naalala kong rules. Sa kanila, sabi, magmahalan. Sabi ko, di naman rules yan eh. Tapos, sinumbong ko sa teacher. Sumbong hirap pala. Tapos sabi ng teacher ko, yan ang rules sa kanila. So, di ba, parang pag sinabi mo kasing rules is restriction, pero sa kanila is promotion. Promote. So, iba-iba pala. So, the proponents of that is John Paul Sartre. Behaviorism. Actually, since you're not my students last sem, hindi niyo pa ako kilala. When it comes to rewards, I could say that aside from progressivist, I am as well as behaviorist teacher. Why? Modification and shaping of students' behavior by providing a favorable environment. Behaviorist teachers teach students to respond favorably to various stimuli in the environment. For example, the light, temperature, arrangement of furniture, size, and quantity. So, iba-iba yan. And visual aids also controlled to get a design. Actually, ako, before, inaayos ko yung PowerPoint ko. Kasi gusto ko maganda, stimulating. Sometimes, kasi dati, nakaganyan yung PowerPoint. Tapos tinanggal ko, binalik ko dun sa module. Tapos nakalagay sa comments na mas maganda daw sana na PowerPoint. So, inayos ko ulit. Binalik ko sa dati. So, lagi ako nakaganyan. Yung may design something. Because for me, it's stimulating. And tinignan ko behavior. And aside from that, I also give positive and negative rewards. So, for example, we will have a quiz, diba, next week. All of my students will receive their quizzes, the 24 hours quizzes yun. And then, the highest pointer per class will receive a plus sa kanilang midterm. And the highest pointer sa lahat ng hawak ko from BPED, Filipino, Math Science, English, BTVTED, Eduk 201 will receive another plus sa kanilang midterm. So, I always give additional. I also give, pag maganda talaga yung performance ng bata or meron akong pinagawang mabigat, I give exemptions. Exempted ka na sa midterm. May mga in-exempt ako sa midterm. Finals, exempted. May mga ginanon ako. I give rewards to people who's consistent. Like din, your class monitor, yung class manager. Pwede naman na walang, pwede naman na hindi ko sila bigyan ng 0.5, but I give 0.5 for them. Ganun ako. So, sabi ko, ay, di pagka-behaviorist pala akong teacher. Okay, so this would be the last philosophy. It is the linguistic philosophy. It is used to develop communication skills of the learner because the ability to articulate, to voice out meaningful values. So more on siya, how to respond to ability to express. Teachers develop learning skill to send messages clearly and receive messages correctly. So tuturuan mo sila kung paano sila magre-respond. How to communicate and receive message verbally, non-verbal, and paraverbal, of oral or written. So, and it is also promoted to know how to speak different languages. Good. So, in linguistic philosophy, the teachers will teach the tone, pacing, the volume of voices, and also the teachers will teach correct and precise grammatical, coherent, accurate, and of course, paano yan tinuturo? Tinuturo yan by constant communication. So we will give communication activities with them, conversational activities, dun mo sila tuturuan. And the proponent is Jürgen Habermas, Hans-Georg Gadamer. So, yan ang proponent ng linguistic philosophy. Okay, this is the last unit. Saglit lang to. So, in a book written by Weimer 2002, she said that students to be learner-centered, the instructional practice to change in 5 ways. 1. The function in the learner-centered teaching includes giving student a strong knowledge of foundation. So, kailangan daw may strong knowledge foundation ang estudyante so that he or she could function well. Students need to understand why they need to know the content. Yan yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina pa. Kasi ganun tayo eh. Gusto natin, alam natin, ba't ba natin kailangan matutunan yan? That's why. So that the students would know when to apply this one. Or ano yung importansya niya. The role of the instructor focuses on helping the students to learn. Yun yung role ng instructor. Tutulungan mo sila kung paano matuto. You will teach in learner-centered, you will teach the students on how to learn. Yun. Next, responsibility for learners shifts from instructor to the students. Nagkaroon, okay, so ngayon, yun nga lang ang problema, student. So, learner-centered, ikaw bahala sa learning mo. Ikaw bahala. Yun ang pinagkaiba niya. Dati, si teacher ang sole responsible. Pag di ka natuto, kasalanan ng teacher. Pero ngayon, hindi. May problema ka na. Okay? The purposes of process of assessment shifts from only assigning grades to include providing constructive feedback. Dati sabi mo lang, okay, 75. Ma'am, bakit ko 75? Kinukuston mo ba ako? May ibang mga teacher ka, kinukuston mo yung grade ko. Bakit? Mas marunong ka pa sa akin? No, ma'am. Hindi po. Kailangan niyo po ipakita yung inyong class record. Or kung, for example, sa activity, ma'am, bakit po naka 20 over 25 ako? Pakitaan mo ng rubrics. Okay. Kaya po ikaw naka 20 over 25, di ba po ang usapan natin sa inyong project, unang-una dapat ito po ay meron po tayong format, hindi yung finalo, -1. Ito po tingnan mo, ang dami mong hindi ka nag-grammarly, puro -5. Di ba? Ganun. So, and aside from that, you will give constructive feedback as well. Ay, ang galing naman! Very good! Plastic. Hindi naman, but rather, you really need to give feedback because the students made an effort. Nag-effort siya, nagsagot siya. Bakit di mo siya pupurihin? Sobrang hirap ba? Ganun ba dapat na sobrang hirap bang ibigay ang very good, ang congratulations, ang verbal feedback sa isang bata na nag-effort? Ganun ba kahirap? Kailangan ba na hindi ka mapapayag, hindi ka mapahanga? Unang-una, kaya mo bang gawin yung mga pinagagawa mo sa bata? Di ba? So, kung hindi mo kaya, tapos siya nagawa niya, congratulate mo. Okay? It's very important to give feedback to students. Next is the balance of power shift so that the instructor shares some decisions about the courses with the students. Okay, so you could ask, baka may gusto kayong gawin for our project. Minsan pinagawa ko yun. Oh, you could choose, ito gagawin nyo or ito. Ma'am, ito na lang po. Okay, no problem. Ayan. So, that's it. Let's have your last set. Last na. Okay, so last set tayo. Anong question? Question number 11. Okay. Product of his environment. Anong philosophy ito? Product of his environment. Environment. What philosophy is this? Okay. Have correct answer is behaviorism. Next. Communicating being person. Okay. Correct answer is linguistic philosophy. Number 13. Okay, you'll just say yes or no. Constructivists agree that meaning can be imposed. Constructivists agree that meaning can be imposed. Yes or no? Correct answer is no. They do not believe that learning can be imposed. Construct nga po, di ba? Question number 13. Yes, no. Behaviorists are connected with the modification of students' behavior. Modification ng students' behavior. Yes or no? Let's check. Correct answer is yes. Yes na yes. Number 14. Yes or no? Perennialist teacher sees wisdom of ancient medieval times. Yes or no? Yes or no? And last one. Yes, the correct answer is yes. And last one. Yes or no? Essentialist teachers frown on long academic calendar and core values. Yes or no? Yes or no? Frown upon. Yes or no? Yes or no? The correct answer is no. Gusto nga nila yun. Long academic. Okay, so that's it. Okay, do you have any questions? Bago sa ating picture taking and last part ng ating recitation. May question pa po ba kayo? Do you have any questions? Okay, iba na itsura natin Iba na itsura natin mga bata. Stop. Okay? Hi, John. Teka. Si ano ba to? Si VG ba?
Opo, ma'am. Nakikigulo po.
Nakikigulo si Vice Gov. Okay. Parang pumuti ka ngayon, Vice Gov. Napusyaw.
Kagabi lang.
Hoy, pero mas naputi ka kaysa doon sa picture mo. Yung picture mo na sinend.
Mas naputi ka.
Okay, so mahilig gumala ang ating VG. Okay, so kindly open your cameras. Last monitor.